Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 146 of This Is My Bourbon Podcast. I am your host, Perry. And with me this week is the co-host of This Is My Bourbon Podcast, Swan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made it.
Hey, I'm happy you made it.
I always act like I maybe am not going to make it.
It was dicey earlier today.
It was dicey, yeah.
You did text me and you were like, I don't know if I'm feeling up for it today, man. I was like...
Energy was low.
Yeah. What happened? You just exerted too much energy?
I got up early and I was like, I'm going to really do it today. I'm just going to do everything. I went to the gym and grocery and came home and cooked and made breakfast and, I cleaned the house and this and that. And I was just ready. I was ready to go. And then as soon as I sat down, I was like, oh, no. Just started going downhill.
I felt that very much over the weekend because we were doing a bunch of stuff around the house. And anytime I sat down, I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
It's the end of my... What are we doing?
Lucy,
this is our bourbon podcast.
Lucy, I can't do anything. The couch needs me.
You may be pregnant with like a week and a half to go until the due date.
But the couch needs me.
But the couch is calling my name. No, I'm sorry, Lucy. I can't come to you. I know you're also calling my name, but...
I'm not going over there unless the couch can come.
Yeah, anyway. Welcome to the podcast for anybody who's a listener for the first time. Thanks for making it into the first 2 minutes. We don't normally go this off the rails, but I got to check in with Swan.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But if you are a first-time listener, thank you so much for being here. If you have not yet already, please subscribe and leave us a rating and review, share with your friends, yada, 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 all that good stuff. The stuff we normally tell people to do at the top of these episodes.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
Cool. Let's do Flying Blind.
Oh, yeah. We're doing this one?
Mm-hmm. So this is not technically blind, but this comes from our buddy Greg Reynolds, who also provided last week's Flying Blind.
A trooper.
So go back and listen to that episode. It was a good one.
I felt good about it.
And then 2 weeks ago, we did the Antique Collection review, and you people haven't downloaded the episodes. What's up with that? Go listen to it.
Just streaming, man. I'm just streaming.
So this is the Goodwood Stout Barrel Finish from Goodwood. I guess. Yeah. It's supposed to be Barton juice, I think. But the reason that he dropped this off was because we had done that bonus episode with the Elijah Craig Beer Barrel Finish.
That's true.
And he wanted us to compare and contrast.
It's definitely a lot brighter on the nose. The Elijah Craig was dark.
Yeah, this is not nearly as stouty. But it's present.
It's kind of breadiness that the other one didn't.
Yeah.
Like
totally.
I don't know. I always associate beer with I'm not a big beer fan. It's like a soggy pretzel thing for me. Like I just can't do it. But it's always very yeasty.
Yeah.
This has got that to it.
I like the nose quite a bit. I think it's... I think I personally like the nose on the Elijah Craig a little bit better just because it's... I like the stout aspect of it quite a bit.
It's definitely stout.
Oh, okay. All right.
You get about halfway through the palate, it reminds you what it's finished in.
Yeah. Yep, there it is. Woo, right on the back of that palate.
As soon as you start drinking it, you're like, is it really finished in something? And then halfway through the palate, it's just like stout.
Hello. No, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I think overall I might like the Elijah Craig a little better.
I do too. The Elijah Craig was out for blood on the first sip, but the second sip was amazing.
Yeah.
I really liked it after that.
I agree. This yes, this is just the first sip, but I don't know. It's just not my favorite. It's a little lighter, I think, than I would like for it to be. I don't know if it just spent less time in the stout barrels. I imagine it did.
Yeah.
Because what was the Elijah Craig like? Gosh, I can't even remember.
Mr. O'Driscoll?
I don't know where I legitimately don't know where my bottle of it is.
Whiskey reviewer problems.
Oh well. I'll find out eventually. But, no, this is good. It's not great. It's just good. I think. So. I guess in some ways it's blind because we've never had it before. Does that count?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm counting it.
We're pretty loose on the rules for flying blind.
We are, and also I'm just confused by this.
In what way?
I don't know. Like, I just feel like I can't tell if there's like a bourbon aspect to stouts that I haven't really explored, or if it's just this is a very mild finishing.
Well, there are those stouts that are finished in bourbon barrel casks.
And I've seen those.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Goose Island, prides themselves with their stouts.
I really like it, but I just can't explain why. That's the weird part. So I'm gonna let that open up, and I'm gonna probably return to it.
I actually finished mine off.
Oh well, there's more in my sample if you need it.
I've got plenty in my sample too. Hey, you actually poured more than I did.
I know.
That's a first.
Taking after you.
You were supposed to take me under your wing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a good dad. Anyway. So a couple things up top before we get into the main episode. If you have not yet left a review of the show on the iTunes podcast app, please do that. It is a great way for us to reach new listeners. It pushes us up in that algorithm. And, people kind of like, I know we say this and other podcasts say this a bunch, but it really does. It really does help. So I appreciate everybody who has done that and will potentially do that in the future. And we read reviews off here on the podcast episodes as well. So we appreciate everybody who does that. Also, tomorrow is the last day to enter the 500 subscriber giveaway on YouTube, which came about because I hit 500 subscribers on YouTube.
Ta-da!
Yay! Logic. I explain how to enter in the video. Basically, all you have to do is be a subscriber on YouTube at youtube.com/thisismybourbonpodcast. And you also have to leave a comment on last week's live stream video on one of your favorite memories from the podcast or live streams or stuff like that. And speaking of live streams, I do those every Thursday night on YouTube at 8:30 p.m. That's like Eastern time in the United States.
Yeah.
Of America.
It's always good.
Yeah.
Good crowd of people.
You look like you had something you were about to say.
Oh, I was just wondering what we're going to pour next. I mean, there's just so many options. Like, what are we going for? All right.
Have you had this?
Not in a while.
But you have had it.
Yeah.
It's the Jim Beam Distiller Series, 7-year, 90 proof. Chad actually gave this to me for my birthday last year.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Nice little bottle.
Yeah, I never actually had it on my birthday this year. So I'm kind of making up for that, I guess.
Yeah.
In a strange year, in these unprecedented times, you can't be expected to remember everything that you normally would.
Not at all, Jim.
Oh, no. Thanks for referencing a deleted bit from the podcast.
See, that's my favorite. Now you have to bring it back.
Maybe that'll be a weird little bonus episode that comes out the Friday of this week. It's just the pre-chats before we get into the main episode. I don't know. Goodness gracious. Let's talk about some news, Swan.
What do we got? I'm coming in this blind. I'm going to be honest with you guys. We didn't prepare.
I kind of threw all this together as well. But, it is what it is. I'm about to have a baby. Okay? Just give me a break. Just give me a break. Sorry, I love you. Limestone Branch has made the 2020 USA Today list of 10 best Reader's Choices. Best Reader's Choice Travel Awards for Best Craft Whiskey Distillery for the third year. Let me try that sentence again. Limestone Branch Distillery makes 2020 USA Today list of 10 best Reader's Choice Travel Awards for Best Craft Whiskey Distillery for the third year.
I feel like you're preparing for an audition.
Am I?
Just like trying to do those weird little like tricks to loosen up your tongue and get ready. And I don't know.
Lily Lockett lost her. Wait, no.
But that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I gotcha. So they came in number 3 in the top 10. Pretty good list of craft folks here going. 10-1, Virginia Distillery Company, Sugarlands at number 9, Highwire 8, Belfour 7, Blom at 6, Sagamore 5, Redwood 4, Limestone at 3, Treaty Oak 2, and Ironroot at 1.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good for Ironroot.
Not terribly surprised by that. If you've not visited Limestone Branch, by the way, go do that. Go do it.
Fontaine.
Hey, oh, I miss that man. I miss going to Limestone Branch. I have to do that when things are not the way that they are right now.
Absolutely.
If they're ever.
Stephen Fontaine's one of those people I want to ask one question to and then call it an interview because he could just talk for 45
Oh,
minutes.
yeah, absolutely.
And everyone just loves it.
Absolutely, yeah. Oh, Mr. Fonte, I missed you. Anyway, good on Limestone Branch. Very cool. Old Forester is also releasing 3 different releases in celebration of their 150-year anniversary. So it's going to be, this is really interesting to me. There's going to be 3 different batches, each at different proofs and different barrel batches. And they've got different flavor profiles as well. So batch 1 is 125.6, 46 barrels. Batch 2 is 126.4, 48 barrels. And batch 3 is 126.8 with 53 barrels. The flavors on these are all over the place.
They are.
Batch 1, acai and black currant. Batch 2, French toast and chocolate malt. Batch 3, it sweetens in the middle to melon and pine.
I think I would like batch 2 the most.
I agree.
The other one seems strange.
I'm very confused by these flavor profiles because they really don't sound like Old Forester.
They sound like Old Forester birthday bourbon profiles to me.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, because
that is
they've
fair.
had Jackie's had notes of melon in some of the past releases that she's put out. And I mean, there was one that I think somebody said they got some cantaloupe off of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've always had kind of a really strange, like odd fruit note to them that's not usually consistent with just a regular like cherry, vanilla, oak, that kind of thing.
I'm very excited to get to try these. We are actually receiving samples from Old Forester of these products.
I'm excited.
So, and hopefully the birthday bourbon as well.
We'll see how it goes.
It would be nice to at least try the birthday bourbon.
It would.
So, anyway, this is really interesting. Have you seen this?
What
Not knowing, yeah, you have. Jeez Louise. You haven't even looked at it. Yeah, your X-ray. How's your X-ray vision working this week?
Not great.
Evan Williams is actually changing up their bottles.
Yeah, the rebranding. I actually have seen that.
It looks really nice.
It's very nice. It's very heritage driven.
Yeah,
feels like. Also, I'm glad they're getting rid of the weird white top on the bottle and bond. They had that weird like cone looking white top thing, like with the connected foil at the top of the bottle and bond. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Clearly not.
It was like the whole top of the bottle was just white, completely.
Let me look. Bum bum bum. Oh, without the tack strip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no tack strip. It was just white.
Well, but there was a tack strip that got added recently.
Okay.
Here, I'm sending it to you. Look at that that PNG file. Clear background. You can share it. You can put that on a shirt, Swan.
Look at that.
Do you see what I mean? Like they introduced this faux tack strip.
Yeah, but before, I mean, it was just like
it was a very plain, awful looking top.
It honestly played well because there was a lot of those bottled and bonds where it was almost like a gimmick that they were very understated.
Right.
And then the Heaven Hill, of course, setting the industry standard was like, we're going to put out a 7-year bottled and bond and it's going to be beautiful. And everyone's felt the need to rebrand.
Yeah. I think that Go Bourbon has done a really good article on these and broken down all the different changes. The bottled and bond is going to be the biggest change. Yeah, it's going to be the biggest. There's no changes to what's going into the bottle. Evan Williams Black is still going to be 86 proof at 4 to 5 years. Bottle to bond remains bottle to bond. And the flavors remain flavored.
Good to hear.
Yeah, it says the packaging embraces its curves. The new packaging, thankfully, doesn't include any corks. That's interesting. They say that it's the best news that they don't have corks because of all the cracked and swollen ones that they've had.
Oh, okay. So they're just getting ahead of...
Well, this is Go Bourbon, or excuse me, the Bourbon Review is the one that is actually saying that it's best that they had the screw tops.
Yeah, some part of me wishes that turkey had always had screw tops.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like the cork with it.
It feels substantial with the cork.
It does.
But it's also heartbreaking when you get a turkey that's older than 10 years old, and every time you've got to do open heart surgery to get that cork off.
I think I had no, maybe this did really happen. I think I might have broken an Elijah Craig cork.
You did. You got that one that was back rear age stated.
No. Like a different one.
Oh.
Like more recently, within the past week or so. I might have dreamt that. I don't know. But Evan Williams single barrel won't change. So that's the end of that.
Yeah, it's kind of their weird little standalone product. It's the only one in that bottle.
Yeah. The toasted barrel finish rye from Michter's is out and about in the world. It's bottled at barrel strength, 109.2 proof on average. And I wanted to pick a bottle of this up. I saw one of our local stores post about it, and I just never got the chance to make it over there. So maybe Michter's will send us some samples.
Maybe.
Be cool.
Be a lot cooler if you did.
MSRP $85. Not bad.
No.
Not a bad price point for that at all. A few releases for this week coming from Whiskey Advocate. The new Boss Hog Magellan's Atlantic. This is the 7th edition of WhistlePig's Boss Hog. 17 years old. Anywhere from let's do the math here right quick. It's going to be anywhere from 105.2 to 107.8 proof. $500 a bottle.
No.
It's insane. It's insane. 17 years old, Canadian rye. Aged in new charred oak, then underwent a 3-week finish in virgin toasted Spanish oak casks, then spent just 3 days in toasted Brazilian teak casks. Most of that sentence I didn't understand, but that's a lot of money for a bottle, man.
It is. I'm not going to say it's not worth it because one, I'm never going to have it. And two, that is a lot of extra finishing that I don't think I've seen on really anything else.
3 weeks and then 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
How much is that really going to affect the product?
I have no idea.
I doesn't it feel like a waste too? Like you essentially can't use unless they had a designated lifespan after being used for 3 weeks or 3 days. They can't be used in straight ryes, or excuse me, they can't be used in a rye whiskey at all to be traditionally what we call rye,
mm-hmm.
and it can't be made into a bourbon either.
True, but they could turn around and sell them to a beer company, and they could say that it was finished in Boss Hog casks.
And I'm sure that they could sell it to wineries as well.
Yeah. I don't think they're losing money on it or anything. That's so much work for 3 days. And also, how do you do you taste it hourly at that point?
What's the point?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of work. I honestly, I couldn't tell you one way or another why they decided to do that, but whatever. I bet it's good. I hope it's good at $500 a freaking bottle, man.
Mm-hmm.
Eesh.
Is the cork cool? I always love the cork.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, as it always is. By the way, and this is coming from Whiskey Advocate, the whiskey's name refers to the famous circumnavigation of the globe begun by Ferdinand Magellan in 1519. The explorer and his crew set off from Spain and made their first landfall in the New World in Brazil. So if I had just read a little bit further, I would have found reasoning at least for what the casks were that they used. But even still, why? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And we only have a couple of TTB labels to talk about. But interestingly enough, one of them is something that we've kind of already seen before. This is an Ezra Brooks cast strength single barrel. Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't we already have that?
Well, they were doing that Distiller Select. That was just like the
Rebel.
Yeah, the Rebel.
So
it's got the same packaging.
So is this a different product?
Yeah, it might be. I know that the picks were like right at 115, so they may have watered those down just a little bit.
This is at 120.
I don't know. It might be barrel proof instead of watered down slightly.
I mean,
yeah,
it says
it's slightly different.
Yeah. It's got more gold on it.
We do like gold.
Gold is bold.
Special
and
limited
mold.
edition.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's maybe the Distiller Select was just kind of a 2020 only thing, and maybe they're trying to move into this cast strength packaging for 2021.
I'm all right with it. I
Yeah.
didn't actually see any of the Ezra Brooks.
Liquor Barn's had some.
Yeah, I just haven't been able to find it.
Ah, fair enough. Fair enough. And then last but not least. Killing it today, Swan.
You're doing great.
I'm killing it. What it is, I don't know, but it's dead in the water.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Last but not least. A 17-year-old, very old St. Nick unicorn cask, as they're calling it, at 107.3 proof.
So since it's TTB, they don't have any information about this unicorn cask thing,
Oh,
do they?
but they do, Swan.
They do? Okay.
Oh, but they do. Are you
I
ready
wanted
for
to
this?
speculate.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah, go ahead.
So this comes from the back of the label, an homage to the unicorn's origins, signifying strength, valor, and rarity, and an unattainable elusiveness. Here are some of the very last drops of some of the rarest Kentucky bourbon whiskey in existence. Produced in a long-ago shuttered distillery in the early 1980s, a revered wheated mash bill gives it character like no other. Removed from crumbling, almost empty black syrupy barrels in the late 90s and stored for the right moment, we felt it was time to share this treasure. Check out the color! There's an exclamation point at the end of that one. Raw, unfiltered, extremely concentrated, and true to its namesake, very old. Also, this is apparently release 1 of Unicorn Cask. So clearly this is supposed to be Stitzel Weller.
Yeah, it seems like it's Stitzel Weller juice, or at least a very small percentage of it. I don't know. This is just strange to me.
I just don't get it.
It seems like, what do they call it? The Orphan Barrel series? Mm-hmm. It seems like that's what they're doing with this. Except
this is Orphan Barrel cranked up to 11.
Yeah.
Really, that's what this feels like.
Yeah.
But here's what I'm most confused about. Two things, actually. Removed from crumbling, almost empty, black, syrupy barrels. 17 years is not that long.
No.
And it's not going to destroy the barrel. The barrels are built for these products to be in there for a significant amount of time.
Yeah. And it does say that they were pulled and then stored, so they could have been put in, like a vat of some sort?
Yeah. So from 1997 until now, it was just sitting in a vat?
I guess.
Where?
They did that with one of the last drop releases as well.
Oh, the one from Buffalo Trace, right?
Yeah. It was like some OFC or George T. Stack or something
Yeah.
that had been sitting in a vat for a hot minute.
I'm sorry, man. I'm calling BS on this. This is setting off so many alarms in my brain. And nothing about this feels right. I truly do not get it. And I think that they're just,
I think they're really shooting for this. What's under the very old Saint Nick, person right here, rare bourbon whiskey. Like they're just shooting for rarity, and the FOMO of not having it. And also, why are you calling it a unicorn cask? What's going on with that?
They have said rare no less than 5 times on their label.
Yeah.
That's insane. And here's my thing. I like Preservation Distillery. I've been there. I like their tour. I like the folks who run it. It's a really cool facility. They've got a great story behind them as well. And truly, the very old St. Nick brand has been revered for a long time. We talked about it on last week's episode. It's a brand that's been around, or was around for a while, had some really great products, was held in high esteem. And then as they kind of petered off, and as they got bought up by Preservation, things just didn't look as nice for them. So, I don't know. This just feels like a big gimmick. I don't get it. I truly do not get it. And it's not that I'm ignorant to their marketing behind it or anything. That part I understand. But at its core, I really don't get this. And I'm not even pretending to, like I might have the answers.
Nope. I won't be buying it. I'm sure it's up there in price.
Oh, there's no way this is under $2,000.
Yeah.
This is, if this is Stitzel Weller juice. The last time that Stitzel Weller juice was on the market was in a Pappy 23 bottle from 2014, 2015, something like that.
Yeah, it was at least a few years ago.
Yeah. So it would absolutely destroy the market if truly, 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 for 13 years, Stitzel Weller juice just sat in a vat. I don't even know where they would do that. Like, where would that sit? Preservation's not a big distillery. They have no room for it.
No.
So are they paying, I don't know, Heaven Hill to just store Stitzel Weller juice in a vat?
Maybe. I'm not sure. I mean, who would they pay? They would probably pay Blade and Bow, right? I mean, that's where it's...
In Louisville?
Yeah, I thought so. I thought they were...
Yeah, that's Stitzel Weller.
Yeah, they'd probably just... I don't know. Maybe they got like a stock hidden
But the
somewhere
Stitzel
and they just sell it
Weller
out.
now is not the same from the 80s.
Well, yeah, but I mean, maybe they've got like stuff sitting in their distillery that they're just like, someday we're going to charge an astronomical amount to sell this to somebody. Who knows, man?
I know. And I think I'm getting caught up and a little emotional about this because of how insane this feels to me.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the dumber releases I've seen. I'm sorry. I'm calling a spade here. This doesn't make any sense in the slightest. I'm utterly befuddled. Now, don't get me wrong. I want to try it.
Let's just undercut everything I just taled about for the last 2 minutes.
I am curious what it tastes like.
Yeah.
But at the same time, who's gonna fall for this?
No, not me. Somebody with way more money than sense.
They're probably not listening to this podcast.
No, they were going to buy this regardless.
They didn't even have to be told that it was a thing. They just assumed that something like this was going to be at one point. They called up their bourbon broker on the phone. Mm-hmm. And they're like, hey, whatever's new and could be amazing, even if it's a lie, just buy it.
Just buy it.
Anyway, sorry. I got a little ranty.
We'll heat it on that one.
I don't normally get ranty, but when I do, it really shows.
Oh, just a little bit. just a small amount.
I just want honesty.
Yeah. It'd be nice. You're not going to get it, though.
I need a nap now.
You need a nap. I feel like I just left the principal's office.
Or more bourbon. I wasn't mad at you.
I was just like, oh my God. Staring into that kid over there.
You know that feeling when your parents are looking at you and they're, talking about how they got angry at somebody earlier, and you're like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to," and like it has absolutely nothing to do with you.
Listen, Mom, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Terrific. Let's finish up this Jim Beam so we can do a review, shall we?
Already did. I've been sipping on the Goodwood.
How's it changed?
Not at all. Not opened up at all. It's completely the same. I was really expecting something just shocking.
Fantastic.
Got nothing.
That's just incredible. Oh, me, oh my. Well, let's review this Maker's Mark SE4PR5.
Yeah.
Which I think was the code that you used to screw up all the Scantron sheets.
Yeah.
So that everybody got 100%.
My favorite thing about this is usually before a podcast, you've kind of sipped on whatever we're going to review just a little bit.
Yeah.
And this time, I'm that person. You get to be Swan's position where it's just like going in blind. It's not had it at all.
Flying blind, as they say. As we say.
So I'm just going to be sitting back, just watching you, Perry.
Okay. Now, full disclosure, this sample came from Chad and Sarah from its Bourbon Night.
It did. It did.
I had to look at your shirt for a second to remember exactly what the name of the show was.
Yeah, I'm wearing that today. I'm going to be honest. I'm one of those people that just grabs the shirt on the top of the pile.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Just roll on with life.
Yeah. Third day in a row I've worn this Dead and Company shirt. You betcha.
Yeah,
It was on top of the pile.
On top of the pile.
On top of the pile. I've been singing a lot recently.
You should. Ooh. No faces are being made yet.
There's nothing that's really jumping out at me. Hold on. All right. Hold on.
He's sniffing his elbow. He's dabbing, folks.
I don't think I've ever dabbed.
I mean, you just sniff your elbow. That's the whole...
But there's like a specific... I'm not doing this. Anyway. Butterscotch, peanut butter brittle. Peanut brittle? Peanut butter brittle.
Yeah, see, I got butterscotch, but it's a very traditional, like... You ever had a fall candle?
Yeah.
Like, it's just nondescript fall.
Yeah. It's, yeah. It's funny, like, as you say that, there are these kind of undertones of foliage. But really, though, I mean, I am picking up on some greener notes throughout there.
Yeah. I will say the nose did not impress me a ton. The palate, however, when you get into that...
That don't impress me much. Speaking of Shania Twain. Was that on the pregame chats? Is that what that came from? Okay.
Just callbacks. It's all good.
Pregame chats, patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast. Oh, there's actually, like, I'm kind of getting some spicier, peppier. This bourbon's got a lot of peppery notes too.
This is
going to
be one where you revisit the nose after the palate. He's making faces. He looks confused. He definitely got a good chew on this one.
Woo!
Oh yeah.
Woo!
Oh yeah. Thoughts, feelings, concerns?
That finish is weird. Wow. It was really, really steady. and then it hit the finish, and it was like a big ball of like TV fuzz. You know what I mean? Like that noise.
Yeah.
Like that's what it felt like
Channel
on the
3, yeah.
Channel 3 before you actually plug in your Super Nintendo. Wow, that is different. That is I don't think I could have told you that this was Maker's Mark.
Oh, I can't. I actually really like it.
I do too.
It's like very nondescript fall on the nose, and then the palate is just very like nutmeg,
Yeah.
baked goods, just real light and happy. And I don't know, it just feels like one where you're wearing a flannel shirt and you're sitting on your porch. And
Oh, it's almost flannel season.
it is.
Oh, thank goodness.
You live for it, I know, Perry.
It's my favorite.
And then the finish is just like, oh, by the way, it's also 50 degrees outside. Let me warm your entire body.
That finish is so intense.
Yeah.
It really is. I am starting to pick up some tea notes on the nose as well after having had the first sip.
Yeah. It's different. This compared to the RC6 is difficult, though, for me because they are vastly different bourbons.
Jeez Louise. Do you want to try the RC6 side by side?
You got it?
Somewhere. Give me a second. I know I have it. I mean, I have a sample of it.
Vamp, Swan. Vamp. What do I talk about?
You drink bourbon.
It just froze. I'm sorry.
That's amazing.
Snuffy, you got this.
Hang boxes. I'm okay. On top of old Smoky. Okay, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I can't find it.
No RC6 was found.
Now I feel bad.
It's all good.
This is great, though.
It is very good. I've had the RC6 recently. It's much fruitier. It's very much like a apple, kind of cherry, very like fruit medley kind of thing going on. And it's got a little spice on the back end. This, however, though, it's like very fall heavy. It's a lot of like baked goods, nutmegs in there. It's got a little bit of a foliage like tea thing, which I'm usually not a big fan of, but with this one it works. It's nice. It's really nice.
I like this a lot. It's so different. It's so not what I was expecting at all.
I think that's what they're going for with this series, though.
Potentially. Yeah. Yeah, I think the RC6 is definitely evident of that. This is a step away from the main maker's profile for sure.
It is.
So,
my only complaint is the name.
yeah, I wish they had some kind of naming convention. It's so hard to just get out of your mouth.
Honestly, you could just put 2020. You could just put the year. You could just put 2020 Maker's Mark LE.
Yeah. But
Ta-da.
SE4PR5 is just, it's too much, man.
Yeah. It sounds like somebody that came up with a droid.
But went a little too far.
Yeah. They were like real deep cut,
I don't know. You want to review this?
Absolutely.
Cool. So we normally review bourbons on the show, and I guess ryes as well, on the scale of nose, palate, finish, and price. Each category is out of 5, and then we score it on up, tally it on up for a final score of something out of 20. Oh, I'm killing it.
The energy's up this evening for you.
It
Barry.
is wild. So, Swan, what would you give it on the nose?
The nose. I'm gonna give the nose a 3.5.
I was in the same boat.
Yeah, it's kind of lacking. It's got so much to offer on the palate that it doesn't show up on the nose.
I think I'm actually going to give it a 3.
3.
Yeah. While the nose is enjoyable, it's just you're right. It doesn't connect with what's going on the palate. The palate is a huge flavor bomb, though. I'm going to give that a 4. Oh man, I can't believe how good this tastes. It's got a little bit of a bitterness, but not in a bad way, too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just enough to kind of coalesce well with the rest of the flavors on the on this palate.
You'll get it out eventually. I believe in you. I believe in you.
We'll see.
I think my biggest complaint with this is just there's not a bunch of cohesiveness between nose, palate, or finish.
No,
they are
no.
all very different things.
Not at
man.
all. Not at all.
Yeah. A palate, I'm actually going to give a 4.
That's what I gave.
Yeah.
No, that's what I gave. I gave the palate a 4.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 4 too, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
And the only reason this is a surprise for me is because usually T notes are off-putting.
Yeah.
They are ones where I'm like, Perry's at a 4, and I'm sitting down at a 2 going, I don't even know if it needs that, man. Like, I actually like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. And I think a lot of it is it's got that fall feeling, and there is that, like, very heavy baking kind of sense to it. And I love that because I spend all year thinking, I'll go to the gym 5 days a week. I'll not eat the pizza that I want. I want the pizza, but I'm not going to eat it. And then as soon as it's like Thanksgiving, Christmas, I'm like, I'm getting a full plate, and then I'm getting a full plate of dessert. And then I'm getting a second full plate of dessert, and then I'm taking desserts home with me. I have such a bad sweet tooth. It is ridiculous.
I'm the opposite. I just want all the main course foods.
I eat turkey and mashed potatoes at Thanksgiving, so the person that cooks food doesn't feel bad, and then I eat an entire thing of bourbon balls while no one's looking.
Yeah, I'll eat all the food on the counter and then skip dessert.
I do like stuffing, though. I'll have a lot of stuffing.
Yeah, so palate's a 4 for both of us. I am going to give the finish a 4.5.
Ooh. Okay, you're going higher than I am.
I love that initial burst of flavor on the finish. Sounds like an oxymoron. But it just, like, where it just explodes as soon as it hits the finish. I love that. It's something I've never experienced with a bourbon before. And it stays pretty consistent throughout the rest of it. Mm-hmm. It's not as strong. Actually, I'm going to bump it down to a 4. It's not as strong as I would like for it to be in terms of longevity. Mm-hmm. And the T notes really are prominent on the finish, especially as it dissipates more. Almost on like sheer surprise factor.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, I think the finish is going to be a 4.
Yeah, I'm sticking with a 4.
Yeah.
Too.
The only thing that's kind of weird about the finish for me is it feels like it's kind of jutting off in a direction that maybe I wouldn't have gone. Not that you can really like shape these things with your mind or anything. Like it's just the finish it has, you know?
Yeah. Right.
But it's this finish makes me want to experiment with it in cocktails. But like
for sure.
Specifically like a smoked old fashioned.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a lot of those like smoking videos.
Yeah.
They look cool. And on top of it, this is a cigar bourbon to
100%.
me. Yeah. So, I mean,
Amen.
I could see you just layering in cigar after cigar with this thing.
Yeah.
And I don't even like cigars, but I can kind of, I've picked up on when Perry's like, this is a cigar bourbon. And I'm just like, all right, cool. Got it. This is it.
Yeah. It's got just enough sweetness to kind of counterbalance with the smokiness of a cigar.
Yeah. That's what cigars do.
That's what cigars do.
It's on its resume. I've seen it.
Wow. Good stuff. But yes, it seems like it would pair really well and kind of offset some of the smokiness.
Yeah.
So honestly, I'm not sure whether or not I would reach for this over like the 46 cast strength.
I would 100%.
I know you would.
Yeah.
I still like the 46 cast strength quite a bit. Actually, I want to try some next to this as well. Because we didn't score the 46 cast strength all that favorably. I mean, we were in like the 10 and 11 range. Whereas this is probably going to be in like the 14, 15 for us, right? Mm-hmm. And I think this runs like $65.
Yeah.
Am I right? That's a great price for a limited release. 4?
I'm going to do 4.5.
I can understand that. I'm sticking with the 4. I don't know
Yeah.
if you want to try this side by side. Or...
No, I'm good. See, I don't know. This is quickly becoming one of my favorite yearly LEs, is the Maker's releases. And I never thought I'd say that.
They honestly don't even smell like the same bourbon.
No.
And I mean, they're by all means not.
They're not, but the thing that's interesting about it is they both had a relatively similar finishing process. It's just one is one particular stave and one is the other.
Yeah, I think I like the SE4 just a hair more. And I'm definitely reviewing it better than I did the 46 cask. 46 cask is just kind of this round ball of okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the SE4, it's really got something significantly unique about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 4 for me on the price. That's a 15?
Yeah, I'm at a 16 with this one.
Yeah, that's... Really, this is a great release from Maker's Mark.
It is.
One of the more surprising things to come out of this year.
Yeah, and I will say that I've almost had... I have this weird thing where I go to my, I guess, future... I don't know, Diane's grandparents. We go over to her house. And every time he's like, you want some bourbon? And he's got the little Maker's rocks glasses with the wax and stuff. And he's got like a bottle of RC6. And I every time it's there and I pour some of it and we have a steak. And I've always just thought about pairing those two together. I don't want this one with a steak.
No,
it seems weird to have this with a meaty, like anything.
I can't figure it out. But it seems like, I mean, aside from a cigar, it seems like it would pair really well with something.
Yeah.
And I need more time with it, which means I'm going to have to get another sample bottle from Chad. But
Yeah.
but I need more time with it. I know that there is something that this is going to pair really, really well with.
Grilled cheese.
No, maybe that's it. Well, we figured it out, everybody. Bye-bye.
That's a secret. See you guys.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, all bourbons pair perfectly with grilled cheese and tomato bisque.
There's not much that doesn't pair well with grilled cheese.
Man, I love tomato bisque.
I love grilled cheese. I'm lactose intolerant, but I love grilled cheese so much.
We had a conversation about lactose intolerance on the last call.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
Was that 2 weeks ago? That was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Anyway, this is a big old recommend for me.
Big old recommend. For me as well.
I like this a lot. I think that if you can find it, you should pick up a bottle. Yeah, SE4. Great job, Maker's Mark.
PR5. I think.
Oh, PR.
Yeah.
Which stands for
Personal record.
Yeah.
Public relations. And
Yeah.
press release. I don't. Which one are we going here for?
I was gonna zag when I zigged, thinking maybe I would be like, oh, it stands for Perry Ritter, but also it would be for something else. Anyway, let's move on to our very infamous segment, Tips and Bits.
Tips and bits.
Tips and bits. Tips and bits.
I'm trying to think of what I've got this week because I have not done anything this week.
I've not really done too much different this week. I'm still playing Mario 3D All-Stars. Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what I did start playing?
What's that?
I started playing Tetris 99.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know about this game?
I've heard of it.
It's bonkers and infuriating, and I love it. So basically what you're doing is you're battling 98 other players in Tetris. And I've not gotten any better than like 20 out of 99 since I've started playing. But it's intense. I mean, like, the premise of it is that if you clear a line, you're throwing trash or garbage, whatever they call it, at one of the other players on the board.
Yeah.
And so if they don't clear enough lines in time, then a certain amount of lines get added to their board. And then, of course, the higher they get, the closer they, get to losing. So you're basically playing Tetris competitively. It sounds bizarre. It's so addicting. I have to go, all right, that really was the last one. You really are not doing one more.
Oh, no. I don't need another game like that in my life.
It's brutal, dude.
Yeah, that's when you find yourself at 2 a.m. going, all right, just one more. 4 a.m. And then finally like, oh, I guess I'll fall asleep now. Got work in 3 hours.
I haven't done that with a video game in a long time.
It's so good when you find him, though.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I feel like the last one you did that with was Animal Crossing.
I need to go back to my town.
Are they okay?
I hope so. Last time I was there, one of my favorite villagers moved out.
Oh, out of spite.
I haven't found a replacement for him. So there's just this empty lot.
Mr. Nook's gonna be so mad.
On Ritzville. Have I ever told you how much I regret naming my island Ritzville? No. You know what it could have been called?
What's that?
Ritzburg.
What a regret.
What a regret indeed. You can't change it after you've started. What? What did I do?
It's like that is the biggest regret you have from 2020.
I've had a few regrets.
It's just that's the one that eats me up inside.
I haven't had time to do anything else that I might regret.
That's fair.
There's nothing else. What am I going to do? I can't go out to bars.
Yeah.
I can't go to buddies' houses a bunch and drink. There's nothing that I could regret that I've done in 2020. 2020 is just this big void of experiences. I was listening to some podcast the other day, and they said 2020 just shouldn't count. Nobody should age in 2020. We should all get a pass, and if you turn 30 this year, you actually turn 30 next year.
I like that. I'm good with that. It's like an actual leap year.
Yeah. It's not a leap day, it's a leap year.
Yeah.
Was this a leap year?
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Think so.
2020 really has it all. I can't name any of it. Anyway. Was that tips and bits? I honestly don't know.
That was for you. I've not said anything.
This is Oh, yeah, that's right. What do you have to tip or bit?
Literally nothing. I've done nothing all week. I replaced my air filter today and then found out my AC unit was leaking. It's been great.
Hey, I tried it in a Norland this week.
You did?
I did. What am I doing?
I keep watching Criminal Minds. I hate watching that show.
Stop watching Criminal Minds. All right, everybody tweet at Swan. It's at Shaun of the Dead. Is it Shaun of the Dead?
I think so, but it's not it's DA.
Oh, Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
Wait, is it 01?
I think it's just 1.
Oh, okay.
But no, I don't know.
Sean spelled like bean.
Yeah, I've just been hate watching it. I'm 18 episodes in. I just keep going. They're 40 minutes apiece.
I would absolutely just want to throw my head through a wall.
Yeah, I'm just the human psyche's wild. And then I'm just I'm not going to watch another one. And then it auto plays, and I'm like, you got me, Netflix. Just keep going, man. I will say, I've actually got one bourbon related. I think everyone, if you have a Total Wine in your area, should pick up this Black Ridge Port Finished.
I like the Black Ridge Port Finished a lot, and apparently I like going through puberty a second time as my voice cracks.
Yeah, it's just so weird, man. It's it's not the best bottle I've ever had, but it's different, though. It's so different. It's Barton Juice, and it's finished in port, so it's pretty much the port finish, just not aged as long.
Back to what I was saying about having tried it in a Norland.
Yeah.
I actually have been revisiting the Norland over the past few days. It's good. I think what I like the most about it that I lack with the Glencairn is how easy it is to hold.
Yes.
And it's that thing that we've been talking about forever. I think Chad probably brought it up initially, that Glencairns are so awkward to be drinking out of and also talking to somebody with.
You have to kind of cut off eye contact and
right.
being faced towards them to drink out of it.
Yeah. But I think that's why the Norland is a little bit more approachable and could be more favorable as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice. It was nice to revisit it. I literally have not had anything out of a Norland in months. I mean, it's been at least 6 or 7 months.
Have you seen where they're doing chocolate Glencairns?
Yes, somebody posted about that. I don't know if that was in our group chat or in the Facebook group.
I want to have an episode where we drink out of them.
Are they hollow?
I don't know. I have no idea.
What if they're not? It's just solid Glencairn that we then have to chisel the inside out of.
I'll do it for content. I work next to a walk-in freezer. I will stand in there and chisel it out until we have 2 chocolate Glencairns.
This has been one of the weirder episodes. Maybe if this is your first time listening, go back and listen to another one.
Yeah, like the antique collection one. That was fun.
Yeah, go download that episode if you haven't done so already.
Yeah.
Anyway, does that do it for this week? I think it probably should.
It probably needs to. It just needs to stop.
It's about that time. I had nothing else. Great.
What do we do now?
Well, now we wrap up the show and tell people thank you for listening to this week's episode, as wild and crazy as it has been. And if you want to follow up with us, you can do so on social media. Swan, where can people do that with you?
I actually don't have anything right now.
You made a big life change.
I did. I no longer have the My Bourbon Finder account.
We are officially retiring Swan the Bourbon Finder, I think.
Yes. Yeah, it's just going to be Swan now. I'm moving my page to something else. It's out there if you want to go be curious, but
yeah.
It's going to be a little bit different for now. And then I will probably make a Swan account here pretty soon if you guys want to keep up with me, and then I'll plug that in the next one.
I never sent you this. But a while back we were talking about if a real swan had your eyebrows.
Oh, it's terrifying. Somebody showed me a picture of one.
I just sent one to you.
Oh my god.
That's Photoshop for you.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's real bad.
It's so bad.
Uh-huh.
It looks like one of those people that shaved the side of their head completely and left the top and slicked it back, but on a swan.
I was initially going to say you should use that as your profile picture, but don't use that as your profile picture.
I'm going to now. Out of spite.
Nah, I'll make a logo for you.
Sweet.
I got an idea.
All right.
Got an idea for you.
I'm here for it.
Oh, I got a really good idea, actually. Yeah, that's going to be great. Anyway, you can follow me personally at PeteRitter1492 on all social media channels. I am also at My Bourbon Pod on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And you can leave us a 5-star rating and review on the iTunes podcast app. If you do such a thing, we will read out that thing here on the podcast because we appreciate everybody who corresponds with the show in such a way. Speaking of correspondence, you can send us questions or comments or complaints or thoughts or feelings or
concerns.
Yeah, sure. Concerns. Why not? To This Is My Bourbon Shop at gmail.com. And speaking of the Bourbon Shop, all of our apparel and merchandise is found at bourbonshop.threadless.com. As I said at the top of the episode, I also go live every Thursday night on youtube.com/This Is My Bourbon Podcast at 8:30 p.m. This is your last chance. If you're listening to this the day that it came out or the day after, you have until 8:30 p.m., which is when I go live again on YouTube. To enter the 500 sub giveaway. So go ahead and enter that and subscribe to that YouTube channel. We're going to build that, going to start doing some more YouTube content as well here soon. I'm still working on getting the BTAC review video edited and set up and everything. It's really kicked my butt. Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm trying to get it done. And then last but not least, patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast. Is where you can become a patron of the show for as little as $1 a month, and for as little as $5 a month, you get the bonus content, which usually includes, but is not exclusively limited to, the pregame chats, which come out every Tuesday before the main episodes drop, and the last call, which is just a goofy fun time where Swan and I go and wrap up this week's content, or the week's content, rather. And we have a couple drinks, have some chats, meet some weird people.
Interesting bartenders.
There are some very interesting and weird bartenders. And we're going to be headed over to the last call here very soon. Why don't we thank a patron? We haven't done this in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, who we got?
How about we thank Monica Willits this week?
She's the best.
She has been a supporter of the show since October of 2018. So just about 2 years, and we really appreciate Monica helping us out. And Swan was saying that he missed Monica.
I do, man. She shared a really good Knob Creek pick with us last time we saw her. She brought one in her purse, and we had a table full of people,
right.
And she just poured everyone a little bit of it, and she got to the end. She's like, "It's gone. I don't know what happened." I'm just like,
I know what happened.
We all know what happens. I'm tasting what happened right now, Monica. She's great.
She is indeed. And I think that does it for this week's episode. Thank you all so much for listening, especially if you have made it this far after this crazy, funny, weird, bizarre week of this Bourbon podcast. Next week, honestly, I have no idea. We're at the point where we will either have a regular episode next week, or it could be the beginning of the banked ones.
Yeah.
So I truly do not know what's going to happen over the next week. So we will find out together. That is for sure. We'll see you next week one way or another. But until then, I'm Perry.
And I'm Swan.
And this is my Bourbon Podcast.